Newly revealed pictures from global energy expert Hunter Biden's laptop show the multi-millionaire drug-addicted unregistered foreign agent driving a Porsche 911 Turbo 172 miles per hour just outside Las Vegas, Nevada. There's also another new photo out now of Hunter smoking crack while driving a car in Arlington, Virginia. Something most people don't do. Hunter's rock star life, collecting checks for his father by day, drug-fueled orgies by night. But we have long maintained that this is not a Hunter Biden story, and that's why we don't spend a lot of time talking about Hunter Biden, because that's what the other side uses as a distraction. They say it's all about Hunter. It's not. This is a Joe Biden story, and Hunter, never facing consequences for his actions, has been critical to protecting his father, Joe Biden. You'll notice the Biden family is really embracing Hunter lately. He had that great appearance at the state dinner for India's prime minister, and then back-to-back weekends with Dad at Camp David. Oh, to be a fly on the wall. Joe needs to make sure his son is happy, free of legal troubles, and feeling all the love right now. While we all wonder just how much control the Chinese and other foreign actors bought over Joe Biden for all of those millions and millions of dollars, just think about how much leverage Hunter has over the sitting American president. Hunter, this guy right here, could bring down this entire regime with what he knows. It explains so much of what we're seeing right now. Nice picture. Starting with Merrick Garland and the fake prosecution of Hunter Biden in the state of Delaware by David Weiss. Here is Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, a little over a year ago. Very careful with his words in front of Congress. And in hindsight, what he says here in this moment tells you everything that you need to know.
The U.S. Attorney in Delaware has been advised that he has full authority to make those kind of referrals that you're talking about, or to bring cases in other jurisdictions if he feels it's necessary. And I will assure that if he does, he will be able to do that.
So you notice the wording there, talking about Weiss. David Weiss has the right to make referrals for charges in other jurisdictions. He can make a lot of referrals. He's allowed to do that. Now, those referrals will be blown off, as we've seen, but he could refer as much as he wanted. That's how Merrick Garland got around what so obviously was the obstruction of this investigation that came from the top. And Weiss did refer. He referred in D.C. and California, an entire cabal pretending to operate by the book is what this was. A fake 5-year investigation. It never ended. It was never real, and it would never end. In the end, Biden's political cloud in Delaware and D.C. shut down an inquiry that started with his son and was on its way to exposing a major political scandal, probably the biggest one we've ever seen in the country. Whistleblower Gary Shapley's testimony paints a picture of investigators who were scared of the ramifications of actually doing their job. Quote, the FBI case agent in Delaware had only recently moved back to his hometown of Wilmington with his wife and family, and was concerned about the consequences for him and his family if they conducted these sensitive interviews and executed a search warrant of the President Biden guest house. Of course, that's Hunter's room. Everybody knew in Delaware, it's a small state, don't mess with the Bidens in Delaware, in that tiny, very corporate state. The Shapley testimony already revealed one of David Weiss's assistants, Leslie Wolf, was fully in the bag for Team Biden, refusing to see any evidence that pointed toward wrongdoing or corruption by Joe Biden. She refused to see all the evidence clearly pointing to the biggest D.C. corruption story on record. And now we're learning there was a second assistant U.S. attorney in this investigation, Derek Hines, compromised as well. Hines once worked with Hunter Biden business partner Louis Freeh. So you're investigating Hunter and possibly presidential corruption, and you've worked in the past with one of Hunter Biden's business partners, probably in a less than, well, not a very good operation, I'm sure. How much evidence do we really need here? How terrifying is it that it's so simple to rig the system for the right people here, and so easy to weaponize it against the wrong ones? And even more dangerous to this country than Joe Biden's obvious corruption is the fact that he was so unafraid to behave this way. It is a rot that must be removed immediately that's enabling this kind of activity. Republicans now demanding interviews with 11 different DOJ officials, including Trump-appointed David Weiss, who they love pointing out was Trump-appointed. who clearly went through the motions of a 5-year investigation to keep up appearances that our elites cannot blatantly sell out our country for profit when it's becoming very clear that they can and that they do. Just look at the evidence the DOJ clearly ignored. Millions of dollars from the Chinese government, money paid and favors owed to shady, corrupt people in many different countries, including the Chinese. That's what's becoming very evident here about the man that's sitting in the White House right now. And knowing that, imagine what else establishment Washington has been concealing. All right, former U.S. Attorney Joe DeGeneva joins me tonight to talk more about this. Sir, good to have you back on. When I look through all of this, I feel like we're starting to see evidence that there was basically a conspired effort here to keep Hunter out of trouble and keep Joe Biden protected for a long time. You go back more than a year ago, and you had Garland basically say in front of Congress that David Weiss has total freedom to make referrals. Not has total freedom to do whatever he wants and actually prosecute this case, but he has the freedom to make referrals, which we now know were just denied. Basically saying he can ask as much permission as he wants. Garland was very specific with the wording in that hearing from April 2022. I think it says a lot.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt now that what you are watching transpire is just the worst type of political corruption in the Justice Department. Look, this case has now gotten so many aspects that I've started to keep a list. So here we go. David Weiss allows the statute of limitations to expire on major felonies so that the cases cannot be brought. David Weiss refuses to allow search warrants to be executed for Hunter Biden's properties. Leslie Wolf, who works for David Weiss, she's an assistant U.S. attorney, notifies the defense attorneys of where the search warrants are going to be executed ahead of time. David Weiss refuses to interview Tony Bobulinski. The list goes on and on. This is corruption. And the letter that Abby Lowell wrote to the committee complaining about their disclosing the IRS whistleblower's testimony was as sophomoric as David Weiss's letter was to Jim Jordan trying to explain why he couldn't testify. This is a dirty case. It's been handled absolutely incorrectly, purposely. The wagons were circled in Delaware by the U.S. attorney, and Merrick Garland is doing nothing more but going along with that. They all ought to be impeached.
In Weiss's letter to Jim Jordan, which came out on Friday, it said, I may request special attorney status from the Attorney General pursuant to 28 U.S.C. 515 or any other district. It says California, District of Columbia, California, or any other district where charges could be brought in this matter, which, again, I think is kind of tricky lawyer language. He doesn't say whether or not he did ask for special counsel status. It's obvious that Weiss is in on this game, too. And I just wonder, where was the conversation? Was there just a conversation at some point where it was like, listen, we got to go after Hunter because it's obvious there's been egregious crimes committed here, but we really know that we can't go after him too hard, and we also know that we can't, it's all going to lead to the old man, and we definitely can't go down that road.
Absolutely, that conversation occurred between Garland and David Weiss. There's just absolutely no doubt about it. This, by the way, if he was going to ask for special counsel status, you do it 5 years ago. Yeah. You know from the beginning, if you're a good U.S. attorney, you know exactly what this case is about from the very beginning. The fact that he has apparently never asked for it, according to his letter, is outrageous. This is a corrupt prosecution from the get-go, and the House needs to keep digging in, no matter whether it will be productive or not. The public needs to see the House of Representatives demanding answers from a politically corrupt United States attorney.
The IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley, his testimony said that Hunter Biden's counsel from Latham and Watkins told the prosecutors that if they charge Hunter Biden, they would be committing career suicide. So you've got Hunter's lawyers telling the prosecutors, I mean, I can't even imagine that moment where you've got the lawyers for the guy that's in trouble saying if you charge him, it's career suicide. That's what a moment.
So you know what? You know what, Rob? If that had ever been said to me when I was the United States attorney, I would have picked up the phone, called the U.S. Marshals, and said, put this guy in cuffs, put him under arrest, and call the FBI to book him. That's what you do if somebody says something like that to you. David Weiss is not a real U.S. attorney. He's a Potemkin village.
Well said. Joe DeGeneva. Sir, thank you so much.
You bet.